Hello, everyone. I don't know if you're watching me, guys, but I've got some sad news, and I want to quickly show you. I will upload a video shortly to show you what's happened, but it's shocking. It's shocking to the core. I encourage everyone to watch the full length video that I'll put up. It may be a bit boring at some points, but trust me, guys, you'll want to watch this. Anyway, first of all, let's look at potentially taking you to my pond, the temporary pond. Um, it's quite a sad day today, really, guys. I don't know if any of you guys will be interested in what I have to say, but as you probably know, you like your fish, your koi fish. You want to protect them. You want them to look good, and I just wanted to do a bit of a live video so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. You know, not everyone is a fan of the stuff I put out, and I think a lot of people do enjoy some of the videos that I do. And I do want to say a big thank you to everyone that does watch me, like Martin's Koi channel. There's Peter Puddle's Koi Pond, and there's various other YouTubers out there that follow the stuff I do. So I do want to say a big thank you to everyone that does come to the Yorkshire Koi YouTube channel and watches the content. As you're probably aware, with the warmer temps that we're getting, we have the potential for predators to try and go after our fish. And if you're in the process of building a temporary pond, you will find at some point that your fish are in a vulnerable situation. So let me show you what's happened, so you guys can actually see what's happened with my fish. So let me just turn the camera around if I can. There you go. Turn the camera around, and let me just take the cover off. Now it's getting dark, so I want to quickly show you this, which is unfortunate. So obviously you can see my yellow koi fish there. He looks half dead. If not, he might be already be dead. And then I'll just show you my other koi. As you can see, he looks really bad, doesn't he? And now I will upload a proper video of him that I'm going to upload later on, because I need you to see what's happened. And obviously I've got two more there. Again, they look pretty bad. And then one more smaller one in the temporary pool, that is, over here, as you can see. Now originally I thought I was doing something completely wrong with this little pool that I've got here. I thought the water parameters were wrong. I thought my fish were not well, and they needed some treatment. However, something happened I did not expect, and everyone who has a pond needs to keep note of that. And those of you who are watching now, I do want to say a big thank you for watching. But I'll show you what I've been doing in the garden first of all, so you can have a look what I've been doing over here. So this is an older pond that I've been converting to make it bigger. So the idea here is just to dig out this soil, make it a bit wider, possibly potentially take out the shelves. And if anyone would like to tell me which they would think I should do, do you think I should get rid of the shelves or not? I don't know. You see that shelf there, over there, is very close to the actual concrete wall of the garage. So I don't know what I should do there. Should I potentially get rid of that? I don't know. And obviously we're expanding the sleepers here. These are the long beams. Some people have suggested, instead of doing an L-shaped pond like I was going to do, that maybe I should do a complete extension length of the entire length of here, and I think that's a good idea actually. So obviously you can see where that flag is there. That's like the width that they would come out, you know, so literally like that. And it would extend the pond about 90 centimeters wider. So That's the conversion, you know, the addition that we're going to do to the pond, make it better. However, I'm going to reveal to you guys what happened here. Basically, I had a heron attack, guys. A massive heron attack. It went on for 2 hours. A heron fish, sorry, a heron bird literally attacked my fish and would not leave them alone. The only thing that saved their lives was this, a net. And that's basically why they're so badly injured. It was like a shooting gallery. They just kept shooting at them, attacking them, and ripped them to shreds. Now I will do an upload of what happened. So I just wanted to do a bit of a stream. I've never done a live on this channel before, so hopefully this is all raw, guys. Total raw. You know, it's one of those things, I guess. So it's that time of year you're gonna get herring birds coming to your pond and attacking them. And I've never seen a heron in my garden before this. Now, I thought there was a disease that was hurting my fish, and I basically put fresh water in, did some water parameter test, and we found out that the water parameters were fine. There was nothing wrong with the fish. The water was fine. The fish looked like they'd been cut to ribbons, and basically they're really badly hurt. I don't know what to say, really. It can be quite shocking to watch a video of a heron attack your fish and rip them to shreds, and that's what's happened here. You know, it's one of those things that you don't expect. You hope it doesn't happen while you're building a new pond. As you can see, I'll just flip the camera around again. As you can see here, I'm building my pond and expanding it. Quite a few modifications are going to I need to do. We're going to have to lower the pump exit area, because most pumps are not self-priming. That's another thing you need to keep in mind. Pumps are not self-priming. So if you have a pump that piping that goes quite high and then out, you're not priming the actual pump. So it's always a good idea to have an exit point lower than where the water level is, and then it sort of self-primes the pump. So this is essentially what we're going to be doing in terms of the pond conversion. You know, make it a bit wider, a bit bigger, slightly deeper. But it has been a very trying day, I'll tell you that, guys. Obviously the garden is a bit of a mess at the moment, but I did want to show and highlight my fish, you know, in regards. It's basically like a war zone. Herons are not nice, as you can appreciate. You know, it's one of those things that you don't expect, and it can be devastating when you lose some fish. Now, if I'm honest with you, I think 2 of them are going to die, because they are really bad in terms of the condition. Whether they pull through, I can't really say. One of my yellow butterfly kois is barely breathing at all, and I suspect he's been hurt badly. My orange one, I'm sorry, I don't know the names of koi fish in terms of their Japanese names, because I just take enjoyment in watching koi fish, you know. But when you have a major heron attack, it sort of puts a dampener on your day. Unfortunately, guys, I have a CCTV camera. You know, I'm in garage at the moment. It's getting outside. But I watched the footage, and it was shocking. Now, maybe some of you guys might want to actually watch it. So let me just get some of it up. Just bear with me while I get into the footage. Play. Sorry. Wrong camera. Do apologise. That's the camera. Hang on. Just bear with me while I get this up, because it will take me a little while to get it up. But when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. You know, I'll just quickly show you what's going on, and then you can see it for yourself. Let me just turn the camera around, guys. Right. So there you can see a heron bird actually in the pond, and he's literally attacking my fish. And this went on for a long time, literally 2 hours. Let me see. Look, this is absolutely shocking. You know, can you see that, guys? Look, he's in there. Look, he's going after them. He's attacking. Now I will upload the full length in a video so you guys can actually see everything. I know my hand isn't a bit steady, but I just wanted to show you this. Now I'm recording off the LCD screen on a Dell monitor. Fortunately, I have a camera, a CCTV camera, and you can actually see this, and it's quite shocking. Look. Now what's happening here? I've got a net on there. He can get hold of the fish, but he can't pull them out. And look at that. When I watch this, I want him, get off that fish. Get lost. Stop doing that. Bugger off. You know, I think if Vince was watching this, he'd be effing this and effing that. But as you can see, he's really hurting the birds. Sorry, the fish. And this went on for absolutely 2 hours. Look at that. Look, he's going after it. He can't get it. The net's there, you know, and this went on for absolutely ages and ages. And I just wanted to do a quick live so you guys can see this. Now, I've never had a heron bird in my garden ever. So, you know, there's a large sort of pond in Batley where you sometimes see one, but it's quite rare. They're normally by the Yorkshire Sculpture Park, which is about, I don't know, in Wakefield. It's a good 20 miles away. But that's a long way from where I am. But look at it. You know. So I just wanted to do a quick live so you guys can see it for yourself. And you can see what's going on. You know, there's nothing I could do. I wasn't here. I didn't put a cover over. You know, obviously there's a net there. So I remember I lost a ghost koi a while back, didn't I? Now, it's a good possibility that it was down to a bird doing this. See, he keeps attacking them, but he can't get them. But every time he does that, he's hurting them. Look, he's in there again. Look, he just will not leave them alone. Now, when I upload the other video that I'll put up, you'll get to see all this anyway. You'll get to see the damage this thing has done to the fish. Couldn't get them. And fortunately, the big fish that I just shown you was actually outside the pond when I got here. He somehow has survived for 3 hours, even though he'd been beaten up like hell by this thing. And I thought he was dead. So I started doing a video showing everyone, obviously, the damage. And I thought it was a fluke or something like that. Look, it just keeps going after it, even though that net won't let him take the fish. So this goes on for like 2 hours. You know, it started around 9 o'clock and it went on to about 12. And I think I had a delivery from Hermes who must have left something. And I think maybe that's what scared him off. But he just kept going again and again and again. And even when that fish fell out of the pond eventually, because I'll show you that, he couldn't get hold of it. And then he changed his mind and thought, I'll go back into the big pond, into the pool and try and get some more. Look, he's got that fish, but he can't get it out because that net's stopping him. It's like a force shield. He just cannot get it out. I cannot get that fish out. Why can't I get it out? Because there's a bloody net there stopping you, you fool. So I'm actually recording this on my phone, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously it's not super steady, but I'll hopefully upload one. Look, you can see he's got my pride and joy in his jaws there. Get off him, he's mine. Leave him alone. Sorry, watching this makes me quite angry. Basically, he kept going after him again and again and again until he eventually got him outside of the pool. But because that net is wedged underneath the actual pool, he can't get hold of the fish. Now, I should have put some sort of fish cave in there, really, you know. But I didn't expect this, I'll tell you that much. So my apologies if the quality isn't great, but obviously you can appreciate how disappointing it is to see this. So that's the gruesome attack that these herons can do on your fish, and the damage is horrendous what they can do. As you can see, you know, you would have thought after a little while he'd give up, but no, he was so desperate to get hold of these fish, he'd do whatever he could to get hold of them, and literally would hack them to pieces. Fortunately, that net is stopping him. The net is an incredible thing to have if you want to protect your fish, guys. The thing is, I don't think herons can get in my big pond as easily because of the large roof. And because obviously it's quite deep. But as you can see here, this heron will not give up the ghost. He keeps attacking. Look, stop attacking my fish, you fool. You can't get it, can you? Because there's a net there. Like Mr. T would say, I pity the fool. As you can see, he just won't give up the ghost, will he? I noticed Andy Dunn just came on and had like a funny face saying, "Ooh, I don't know. Oh, ooh, don't know. What does that mean, Andy Dunn? Does it mean you're a bit shocked at what's going on here?" Um, so look, he's got hold of another one. Look at that. He won't give up though, will he? Can't get it because that net's there. Oh, he's going after another one. You know, I originally thought it was my fault that the fish weren't looking so well because I thought maybe it was some sort of disease that had attacked them overnight or something, some sort of skin eating disease. But no, it's this thing. No wonder people hate herons. And I know some people do want to shoot them, but because they're a protected species, you can't touch them. I've noticed we've got a few watchers and I've got 3 thumbs up. Thanks for watching anyway. I think it's informative that people see something like this. Like I said, I will put the higher quality version of this video up, you know, using the SLR camera. But as you can see, this is quite, you know, disturbing to watch this, isn't it? Look, he's got my pride of joy now. He won't let it go, will he? It's really sad, this, unfortunately. So this heron fish is attacking my fish, hacking them to pieces, and won't let them go, literally. And look, he's got another one now, and then now it's swimming away to escape. You know, but because it's a small pool, they've got nowhere to go. It's like a shooting gallery. It's just won't like leave it alone. So if you're watching, feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what you're thinking. Um, but this is shocking. I've never seen a heron in my garden before, ever. To be honest with you, Chris, I didn't expect to see a heron come into my garden like this. This is just like a temporary pool while I rebuild the main pond. So I didn't expect it. I certainly will be doing that, Chris. I will be putting a tarp over, and hopefully that'll stop it. But I've seen many people use, you know, temporary ponds while they build the main pond, and I've never seen them, have herons come and attack their fish like this. So I do actually have a tarp, and I will be covering it after seeing this. But this was just a temporary thing, just so I can get the other pond built. But the weather's been pretty crap recently, so I haven't had the chance to get the pond finished. Anyway, guys, I think you've probably seen enough of this anyway. So I'll leave it there. Big thank you for coming to see. I don't blame you, mate. I didn't want to see much of this either. I certainly didn't like seeing this. I just assumed it was a fluke problem or some sort of fungus disease. And I can't believe I found this on the CCTV footage. I thought it was completely something to do with, a disease or something until I saw the CCTV footage. But I don't blame you guys if you don't want to watch this and you want to go elsewhere, because this is just shocking to watch. I think maybe it'd be an idea to possibly bring them inside into the garage. Maybe that's something I could do. But I don't have like a massive tank, that's the only thing. But hopefully this is a bit educational for everyone. If something like this happens, when you're building a new pond and you want to put your fish in a temporary pool or something, um, probably best thing to do is just keep them indoors, not have them outside. Because if you've got a heron determined like this one is, he can't get hold of the fish. There's a net there, but he just keeps going after them again and again and again. Hi, Peter. Yeah, this isn't nice, is it? I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a disease problem my fish had, and I was doing water changes. I was doing checking the water parameters, and then I thought the fish looked like something's been attacking them. So I got to the CCTV camera, as you're watching now, and saw this lot. And literally, this bird keeps going after the fish, even though there's a net there, and keeps going after them and attacking them and hacking at them. Manages to get one of the fish outside of the pool, but because I wedged the net underneath the actual pool, he couldn't actually get hold of the fish. But it didn't stop him going after it, and kept going after it again and again and again. So a lot of the fish are really injured. I think at least 2 of them will die. The other ones are really bad. I don't know if they'll survive either. Out of the 5 that I've got in there, I suspect 2 might survive, but I'm not 100% sure on that. They're really bad, Nick. Literally, the scales have been torn off by this bloody thing. Um, I know if Vince was watching this, he'd be saying effing this, effing that. And I have recorded this onto my SLR camera, and I'll do more of a longer video so you can watch the whole thing. But this went on for 2 hours. You would have thought after 20 minutes of trying, because there's a net there, it'd give up, but it just kept going and going and going. And no wonder the fish are heavily damaged and hurt. You know, look, you just can't get it. It will not leave it alone, though. You know, and I don't blame you guys if you don't want to watch this, because this is horrible. Um, you know, this is the first live I've ever done, and I never felt the need to do a live until I saw this. And I won't lie to you, I'm sort of shaking a little bit watching this. The only problem, Peter, is some of them have got fungus, and I don't want them to infect the other fish. That's the problem. I suppose one option might be to, I don't know, take them out of the pool, empty it, and bring it into the garage. I suppose that's an option. You see, what Peter's on about is I've got a one of those Blagdon half moon pools in my conservatory, and I've got 3 goldfish that are doing very well in there. And you know, the problem is there's some sort of fungi growing on one or two of the fishes, you know, and I do need to treat them. And that's what prompted me to obviously consider that it was some sort of fungi problem, not an attack. You know, I just thought they're not well, and maybe some sort of disease was, you know, making them unwell and not looking right. But they were just too badly damaged for me to think it's a health problem. So obviously I went into the garage and looked at the CCTV footage that you're watching here, and I thought, bloody hell, no wonder they're so badly hurt. I don't know about that. If you've got white fungi, I think it can transfer it from your koi fish to your goldfish. You see, he keeps going after that large orange koi. Now he's got hold of it there now, and now he's brought it out into the floor. Now you can't see what's going off there because it's out of shot by the camera, but you can see a little bit of the fish like flapping around. And that heron bird just won't leave it alone. Look, he's going after it again. He won't leave it alone. The bastard won't piss off, but can't get it because that net's wedged underneath the pool. Sorry, let me move the camera over so you can see. Hiya, James. Thanks for coming to watch the this. Well, you might call it a massacre, really. What's happening, if you've not been watching, is I've got this herring bird attacking my fish. I put them in a temporary pool over there, and I've never seen a herring in my garden before. I'm not anywhere near any of the big ponds that are around here. Now this was a temporary thing. Sorry to hear about that, James. You lost what? A birthday present. That's not nice. Yeah. Well, I lost a ghost koi not long ago, right? And I thought it jumped out. Now, for all I know, um, it was this thing that did it, but I don't know why it didn't eat it. But the condition of all my fish are like the scales are ripped off. You know. Now I will upload a separate video. Look, he's going after it again. It won't, but he can't get it because the net's there. And when I got back about 5 o'clock, which is probably about 3 hours after this, I thought he was dead. So I started doing a video showing you guys what happened. And I noticed I could feel something in my hand. It was like slight movements. So I thought, hang on a minute, he's still alive. How did that happen? So I put him back in pond, obviously, and he is breathing. Oh, let me turn it back on. So he's actually still alive. But this has got to be one of the worst heron attacks I've ever seen. Well, that's just it, James. There's a net there. You can't get those fish out of that pool. All he can do is attack them. You can't actually get hold of them because the net's literally secured all the way around underneath the pool. The weight of the water is holding the net in place. So he can't actually get any of the actual fish at all. But this attack is horrific, isn't it? It's a shame my first live stream is showing you this. So he's going in again, and he won't leave it alone. Yeah, I might have to do that. It's not ideal putting because what I'm gonna have to do is take the fish out, put them in like I have got a few like large containers I could put them in. But that'll stress them out more, won't it? Yeah, they're only meant to be in there for like a couple of days, maybe a week at the most. But you don't expect this, James, do you? Where are you from anyway, James? I'm not sure how I would raise the net, really, you know. Because it's like the net was sort of level, but with this bloody bird, it just pushed. Look, he's going after another one. You're in London, are you, mate? Sorry to hear that. I know there's a lot of trouble over in London. But this started about 9 o'clock, you see, and according to time index on the CCTV, we're on at 11:34. So this is like an hour and a half in now, and this heron just won't give it a go. Piece of Polycarbonate, that's a good idea. Something solid. Wish I had a piece of polycarbonate lying around though, that's the only thing. Saying that, I've got some pieces of OBS board I could put over it. That's a good idea, WKP. It's still here. It's good to know, James. There's a lot of trouble in London, I tell you that much. I do watch a lot of political videos, and you might be familiar with Maya Tuzi. He does a lot of videos, and he says, he's always talking about these marches in London. But yeah, that heron ain't giving the ghost. You'd think after 20 minutes not being able to get hold of the fish, he'd just give up, but he won't stop. I think if this bird is so determined to get hold of the fish, I don't think a net's going to stop him, if I'm honest with you. The only thing the net's stopping him from doing is taking the fish, but it's not stopping him like poking the fish with his beak. That's a bit like a spear, innit? And he's spearing the fish and hurting them. So you think James he'll come back? Yeah, it's not good, that is it? Because the main pond, I've never seen them come to the main pond, but maybe because it's quite deep, you know, he can't get into main pond when it's built. But the question is, will the fish survive? That's the question. Because they're really badly hurt. Two of them are bad. I won't kid you. And when you see the new video that I upload, you'll see the damage. Nick, that's an interesting idea. A tent over your pond. Never thought about that. That's a novel idea. But it just shows how determined these things are. When you've got a net, there's lots of people say, oh, put a net on your pond, it'll stop them. I don't think it stops them, mate. And I think if your pond is about a meter deep, I don't think they'll try because it's too deep. But if it's shallow like this, like 30 centimeters, they won't stop. It's funny though. I've never seen them go after my goldfish in my small pond in the garden, which is about as deep as this. Saying that though, I did lose two whitefish. I don't know what happened to them because I never found the bodies. But there is a fish cave, so that at least they can go into the fish cave and escape. So, Bobbles, you think he'll come back? Because James thinks he'll come back. What I'm gobsmacked about is how much he keeps trying, though. Because this has been going on for an hour and 40 minutes. I originally thought it was just some sort of disease problem with the fish, and that's why they looked quite bad, and thought they just deteriorated for some reason. But he's going after that fish that's actually on the floor, because he managed to. If you've just come to watch this, he managed to get quite a large fish out of the pond onto the floor, but because the net is underneath the pool, and the pressure of the water's keeping the net in place, he can't get that fish out. And that fish was about 10 inches long, quite a big one, you know. And he's really hurting that fish. Just will not leave it alone. You're right, this one won't give in, will it? Will it? No matter how long you watch this for, which goes on for another 20 minutes yet. So I'll just, show you as long as I can because battery might go. But yeah, he's insistent on getting that fish, isn't he? Well, I'm gutted because the fish look like they've been torn to pieces. The scales literally torn off the fish. There's one that might survive, but it'll look like a battered piece of you know what. The other four look really bad. You think he'll be back, do you? Yeah, I know what you meant, Bobbles. Now I do have a reasonably large-sized tank that I could put them in. It's not massive though. It's only about, I don't know, be about a meter long by about half a meter wide. Just hiding behind that post at the moment. I think what happened in the end though. Yeah, well, you're right about that, James. I suppose I could get it out and put them in there. Probably have to do a lot of water changes though, won't I? Saying that, my garage is quite large. I could put that in the garage, providing this thing hadn't punctured the damn thing. Well, you know what, James? I think I'll probably do that. I'll probably get that like biggish tank I've got in my bedroom, and put them in there. I think that's the best thing to do, because I can't really risk this thing coming back, can I? You know, it was only a temporary thing anyway, for maybe a week at most. You see, right there, there's a fish, right above the grassy plant thing that's in there, and on top of that fish is obviously the net. So it's sort of trapped between that plant and the net, and it just keeps going and going and going after it, you know. I've got a tarp, Levy, but would that stop it? That's the question. If it's that determined with this net, would a tarp be good enough to stop a heron? I just don't know about that. Sorry if the video's a bit shaky, but it's getting quite cold in the garage. You see, you just can't get it because of that net. That net says no. Incidentally, Peter, you mentioned something about that stainless steel spillway. You know, I can sell it to you, but I couldn't give it away for free because it cost me a lot of money to buy it, and it was custom made. I think it was 70 odd quid that I paid, but I'd take 50 for it. The thing with this herring though, is it Lowy, something like that. It won't give up. Keeps going and going and going. I think what scared it off was probably either every delivery, and I think that guy might have scared it off when he were knocking at door or something. The thing is, the fish are really badly hurt though. I don't know. Has anyone had koi fish that have been attacked badly and actually survived? I tell you what, it's shocking the condition of the fish. What this thing has done to them. Literally ripped off scales. You know, you can see bare skin. Good luck driving, Peter. Take it easy. Keep safe. I don't know about that, Lowy, in terms of the fish, if they'll survive or not. I don't know. But the last thing I want to do is give the satisfaction to this bloody bird. And the thing is, if they sort of know they can get hold of your fish, they'll come back, won't they? It's a shame you're not allowed to do something to herons, isn't it? As they're a protected species, aren't they? just while I got some of you guys on, what would you use for treating fungus on your fish? I'm just curious. So at 12:40, it looks like it's flown off. So it started about 9:05. So for 2 hours and 35 minutes, that fish has been attacking that bird has been attacking my fish. Um, so that's basically that. I'll just move the camera over to myself. So just want to say a big thank you for you guys coming on and watching that. Well, I won't say it's a nice thing to watch, and I can understand some people didn't want to watch it and just you know left because to be honest with you, I probably have as well after a short period of time. Um, so I got some stuff in my shed. Can't remember what it's called. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Um, yeah. So there've been some nice comments. People have been commenting, giving me advice, like saying, "Get a tent, put something over it, put a tarp over it." I suppose you could put a piece of wood over it. Um, thing is, you need to make sure you got a good flow of oxygen to your water as well, though. So maybe the tent idea is the better way. Um, but yeah, that's more or less what happened with my fish. I thought it was a disease type related thing. Yeah, that's what Gaz's koi pond. He recommended that Actra Faravin. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Um, by is it Yashimi, something like that. I've ordered some of that actually, so hopefully that'll treat the fungus. But then they're also fighting this bloody battering they've taken off this bird, aren't they? Um, so yeah, um, there you go. I've got some ideas on upcoming videos, guys. Obviously, there's the pond build, the rest of the pond build coming up. Obviously, you've seen me have buy the Evolution Aqua Surge filter as well, which I do have over here. Hang on, let me just turn the camera around so you can see it. Here's the Surge filter, guys. That's a Evolution Aqua Surge filter that I'll be using. Um, so that'll be a nice thing to use as a filter. Um, so that's just something I thought I'd show you. Um, it's a good filter really for what it does and what it costs. Um, but there you go. I think that's more or less what I wanted to show you guys. What happened with fish. Um, but yeah, it's quite a sad thing when you've lost some fish. Well, they've been really badly hurt, and I suspect two of them will probably die because they don't look too good. Uh, what's that Bubbles Koi? I use it. It's like Hulk piss, LOL. Okay. Um. So James has said, if I was you, I'd make the net further away from the pond so they can't spear the fish. Yeah, it's just figuring out how to set it up really, I suppose. I think what I'm gonna do is get a large tub that I've got in my bedroom, fill it up with water, and put the fish in there and see how they do. That's the best I can sort of do. Hi Martin. How's it going? I know we've not really talked for a while, have we? Just to give you a bit of an update, because I don't know if you've been watching what's been going on regarding what I've shown everyone. Um, I've had a heron attack my fish in my temporary pool, and they're so badly damaged that I don't think they're going to survive. Or if out of the 5, maybe 2 will survive. But I've just shown everyone the CCTV footage, and everyone's shocked, like I was when I saw it. I couldn't believe it. Cheers, James. Appreciate you coming on and watching and commenting. It's nice to know that there's some nice people out there who are concerned about the well-being of fish. Yeah. Martin, what happened is basically I got a temporary pool while I extend my new pond. I've never seen a heron before in my garden, and it literally spent 2 hours and 35 minutes attacking my 5 fish. It even pulled one of them out of the actual pool onto the ground. And when I arrived, I thought it was dead, just like the ghost koi was. But I could feel something in my hand when I picked it up. It looked dead, but when I picked it up, I thought, I can feel something. And then I saw the gill move a tiny bit. And I thought, he's still alive. What the, you know what? What the F word, I know if Vince was here, he'd be effing this, effing that, wouldn't he? So I put him back in the water and he started breathing, and I seen him swim a little bit, but he looks half dead as it is. My butterfly koi, my yellow one, he's barely breathing at all, and to be honest with you, he looks half dead as it is. The other 2 sort of young koi I've got have been also hurt and damaged. Literally all the koi fish I've got in that little pool have been hurt badly by this heron bird. Well, that's the thing. I had the ghost koi was out of the water for a while, and I tried to resuscitate him somehow, and I couldn't get him to come back. But the larger koi, which is the biggest koi I've got, and he was about 10 inches in size, so quite a large one. I think it would cost you about £150 in shops. He's not well, so I don't know if he'll survive. Bobby Coy said, "Make your pond bright green." Actually, that's what I meant. Okay. Yeah, Martin. It's not good. This is the first time I've done a live, and I didn't seem inclined to do a live or ever do a live on this YouTube channel. I've done like lives on my Canon cameras, channel as well, occasionally, but not often. But I felt it was something important to share with everyone. Well, what I'm thinking is I've got like a large, it's not a large tank, but it's about 1 meter wide, half a meter tall, and about half a meter wide. And I thought maybe as a temporary solution, put them in there. I've got a lid for it as well, and just put them in garage. Maybe that's the best thing I can do on a temporary basis. I could even potentially bring in that pool into the garage, but I don't know what the heron's done to it. In terms of, has it been damaged? Because if it's been spearing these fish, you would have thought it's been spearing the bloody plastic, wouldn't you? I was thinking about that, Martin. The only thing is, the 3 goldfish I've got in there are obviously healthy, and 2 of the koi that I've got some white fungus on them, and I don't really want to infect my goldfish, which I'm quite fond of in the conservatory, with any sort of disease, That's the only concern I've got about putting them in there. But, I do have a large tank in my bedroom that I could put the fish in temporarily and see how they do. Um, White is the white fungus rubbery? I'm not sure. It seems a bit slimy, if I'm honest with you. I know quite a lot about building ponds, constructing ponds, filtration systems, how to build traditional ponds, how to do it the aquascape way, using their products as well. I know all about their products. The one thing I'm a bit, new to is fish treatments. It's not something I've really spent a lot of time looking into and researching. So it's the one side of pond keeping, fish keeping, that I'm sort of very, very green, you could say, with. I know there's a lot of people go around testing their water parameters, their flukes, looking for parasites, that sort of thing, using microscopes. I've never really bothered with that side of it because think about it. In a natural pond, you're going to have those things anyway, aren't you? And they still survive and thrive. Um, I think, and then someone did mention this to me, that some koi keepers over test their fish and become so obsessed with water parameters and water quality and the KH of the water, or the pH, or how much ammonia is in their water, how much nitrites and nitrates are actually in the water. Some people can become so obsessed with these water parameters when they sort of forget about the enjoyment of fish. It's to watch them and enjoy them and have, take pride in their fish and enjoy them that way, rather than spend all your time worrying about parasites. And that's not coming from me. That's coming from, I went to a koi dealer in Garforth in Leeds. I go there quite often. I've done a video about them, so if you want to check them out, watch that. They talk about these things when I talk to them about it, and I think a lot of koi keepers do take it a bit too seriously sometimes. Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of people out there do agree with me when it comes to, you know, um, pond keeping. It's not, a lot of people talk about Japanese koi, Israeli koi, um, Polish koi, European koi, koi from the UK, and they get so obsessed with Japanese stuff, thinking it's so better, but basically the fish, you know, um, they just come from a different place. That's all. And a lot of people do obsess about their fish, and want the Japanese stuff and want huge fish. I've never been, that bothered about how big my fish are or how massive they are. As long as I enjoy them and like to watch them swim around, that's all that matters, really, isn't it? I only tend to test my water parameters when I see something going wrong. Like today, I've tested the ammonia, the nitrites, nitrates, the pH, the KH. Everything came back normal. I literally have no ammonia in that pool, um, which I was surprised about because it's quite a confined space. Um, so that obviously is the first port of call if you're concerned about your fish. If they're you know not doing too well. Like I thought it was a disease. The first thing to do is check your parameters, and then if it's all right, or if it's not all right, then you want to check for parasites, and then after that, potentially, like I've done, check a CCTV camera and see if it's a predator, and that's where we're at the moment. A predator has come and attacked my fish, and done a lot of damage. That's what's happened here. Now my battery is running down on camera. I've got on the phone. It's 15% left. So I'll probably have to end it there. If I go off, then the battery in the camera's gone. In the phone, sorry, is gone. So I will upload a video showing you the full length thing, so you can watch it all if you want to. I won't lie to you, I was fucking pissed off when I watched it. Never been so angry before, especially when you're fond about some fish. You're just trying your best to build a new home for them, and then something comes along and tries to kill them. Plants are brilliant, mate. If you want to fight ammonia and nitrites, the best thing you can have is plants. Forget about fancy filters, fancy showers. Plants is the answer to keeping ammonia down in your pond. A lot of people talk about filtration and, oh, you need this and you need that. If you can put plants in your pond, that's fantastic. And Blagden do plant baskets. Like I've got some plant baskets in the Half Moon pond that I've got in my conservatory. Now you can buy those separately, and there's nothing to stop you putting plants in those plant baskets, especially you, Martin, because you've got a large pond. You could easily do it. Put these plant baskets along inside on the pond, screw them into your capping wood, and put plants in. And that'll stop your koi eating them as well. And plants are the best thing, really. Natural is always the best way to go. Gwen, yeah, just before my battery dies, I'll just let you know quickly. I've had a herring bird come and attack my fish. There was a net on there. It couldn't get the fish, but that didn't stop it. It kept going and going and going. And that net was the only thing stopping the herring taking my fish away. But it didn't stop the heron attacking. And it did that for 2 hours and 35 minutes. I've checked the CCTV footage and you can see it. And it's gruesome. I even thought one of my fish was dead because it managed to pull one of them out. Now, the net was actually underneath the actual temporary pond. So it couldn't actually get hold of the fish. I designed it in such a way to stop the fish actually jumping out, because I thought when I lost my ghost koi last time, that jumped out, and I thought that was a problem. But who's to say that wasn't the actual heron that did that? But I don't know why it didn't take the fish, because there was no net on at the time, and lots of people like you guys said get a net. So I put a net on. Did it stop the heron attacking them? No, it didn't. Well, I hope it's been entertaining. Sometimes it's difficult doing a live when you're talking to yourself, in effect. But it's nice to see some of you guys coming on and saying hello and looking at it. Well, I hope the fish survive. That's the only thing. But are they going to be nice to look at after this? I don't think so. They're going to look like, I don't know, a battered Mike Tyson, aren't they? So, yeah, thanks for coming, everyone that's been coming on. I know it's not a nice thing to watch, but that's, predators can be a pain in the butt. I know predators in the US is a bit different. They tend to have, I don't know, like rodents eating the liner and that sort of thing, don't they? But in the UK, it's more herons that are the problem. And unfortunately, they're a protected species, so you can't do anything about them. I know some people have, I don't know, alarms and water jets to try and scare them away, but I don't think they'll always work. Yeah, you're right, James. Joys of the hobby, you know. That's nice of you to say that, Martin. Appreciate that. You know. I have had my disagreements with some of you YouTubers out there. Don't get me wrong, especially when certain YouTubers were slagging me off, and I won't mention their names, but I know who you are, and it's not you, Martin, by the way. But there are a few out there that have called me certain things or said things about me on other people's channels and think I won't get to watch that or won't get to hear about it. Some people are a bit daft sometimes. Yeah, yeah, I understand that, Gwen. But it was a temporary pool. It's not a permanent pond. Just while I build the other pond. But I didn't expect to see a heron. I've never seen a heron in my garden ever before. That's the thing that shocks me the most. I did see a bird of prey once attack another bird. I think it was like a kestrel, and it were attacking a blackbird and eating it, which I was shocked to see. But I've never seen a heron, come into my garden. It's quite confined, my garden, by fences, so it's hard for a heron to actually get into my garden to start off with. Um, but yeah, James, it's a learning curve. Even people that know a lot about pond building have things to learn, you know. Even the experts like Aquascape have things to learn. They're always learning new things, you know. But yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that's come on and those that people have liked the video, even though it's for wrong reasons. Yeah, Martin, we yes certainly learn. Thing is, on my main pond, I never had a problem with herons because the water's quite deep. They can't really get in there. I think when you've got water, it's like half a meter deep. Herons don't want to go deep, you know. But this pool is only 30 centimeters in it. It's easy for them. Even with a fence all the way around my backyard, it's quite secluded. It would be hard to see even from the air. Now my main pond actually has a roof. Maybe that sort of shields them from the herons quite a lot. I'm a wildlife photographer. I appreciate wildlife, but herons are not something I'm that fond of. You can appreciate that, can't you? No, I do have another YouTube channel called Canon Lenses and Cameras. I do camera reviews on cameras, and there are a few live streams that I've put up on there. Um, but on this Yorkshire Koi channel, I don't have a lot of subscribers, obviously, but some of you guys come on to watch, and I do appreciate that. Life around the koi pond, yeah. Um, Sounds like you've got a nice pond. Yeah, I've seen people put washing lines up, and that does sort of deter them a bit, but it's a bit unsightly, isn't it? Yeah, but your pond's quite deep, isn't it, Martin? Yours like 4 foot deep. I remember you digging it out. It was like you were digging to Australia, wasn't it? You know. I think if your pond is a meter deep or deeper, you should be all right because herons don't like going into deep water. Um, but if it's shallower than that, then you need a fish cave. Now, in the small pond, I've got a fish cave. Um, you know, so it helps having a fish cave. So it's always a good idea to build a fish cave, even if you think you don't need one. Put one in just in case. Cheers, James. See you later. Nice of you to come on, Martin. No, I haven't. Actually, I haven't seen them a fish for a while, actually. But they do tend to hide in the fish cave that I built. Um, that's the thing. They didn't. I've never had herons go anywhere near, or I've not seen them go anywhere near my small pond. But there is a fish cave there. Although I did lose two white goldfish, and I don't know what happened to them. But I've got three goldfish in there, and they seem all right. Yeah, I did check your small pond, mine. It's a nice pond, and it's fairly deep, as I remember. The only thing I think might have been nice is if you'd put a slate capping on instead of wood. But nevertheless, it's a nice pond. You know, I did see your bridge. Um, Seems all right, your bridge. The only thing I think would have been nice is if your bridge was like curved rather than straight, because I think that would have looked nice if it were curved. Down to cost, certainly. Bloody ponds are expensive, aren't they, mate? Uh, like my pond is like a 3 grand sleeper pond, plus everything else I've been buying. All this pipework costs an absolute fortune, you know. And that new filter, that surge filter I've got, 300 quid. 300 quid. Want it to be different. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being different, mate. You know, a lot of people criticize ponds and people in terms of the way they do things. You know, just because you do something differently don't mean it's wrong. But a lot of people get upset when you do it differently, don't they? Yeah, all right. Anyone can build an arch bridge, but they look nice though, don't they? You know, I've been thinking about getting a YouTube play button made out of wood, but I don't know where I could get one from. You know, I'd like to have an arch bridge if I'm honest with you, but I don't know where I'd put it. That's the thing. Oh, cheers, mine. That'd be nice. You know, uh, for free, really? That's a generous offer. Really appreciate that. And anyone's watching this, check out Martin's Koi Pond and Garden, fantastic channel. The only thing I would say, Martin, is get yourself a lava microphone. It'll make your audio better. You know, you can pick one up for about 15 quid. You know, one that's on a cable rather than wireless. They only cost about 10 to 15 quid, and it'll make your audio better. I think I mentioned it before, but that was a while ago. So, life around the koi pond said how we kept herons away was streamers hanging from fishing line. That is a brilliant idea. Absolutely fantastic idea. What you get? Just get in time to order one. Oh, just get in house. I'll see if I can put some on this. I'll just see if I can put a battery on my live stream. Always at work, Paul. I know. I know the feeling. Have you ever thought I'd be able to finish my pond if I weren't working all the time? Right. Hopefully, I can keep going with the a charger plugged in. So, what are you getting to the time to order one, mate? Has anyone been checking out Gaz's live streams recently? He did one on Sunday. I have one of those bamboo wind chime things. I think I've shown that in my channel before. Um, which is quite a nice one. I got it from one of these shopping centres, you know, that have these weird stores in. We never got one heron and never lost a fish, and it was very rural. Hmm. I don't know whether rural or non-rural stops herons. If I'm honest with you, I think they're everywhere. How's everyone dealing with the parasite issue? Because parasites seem to be a big issue at the moment. A lot of people have been complaining about flukes and diseases and fungus and that sort of thing going off. Um, but one thing I didn't expect was a bloody heron. I'll tell you that much. Has anyone had attacks from herons in their ponds, I wonder? Yeah, sure, no problem. Martin, I appreciate that. That's nice of you. It's a shame you're not allowed to do something to herons, isn't it? Because they're protected and all that. I'm not sure why, because they're not like bird of prey, are they? You know, I could understand a kestrel, a hawk. Incidentally, there's a YouTuber that has hawks in the koi community. Is it Henderson and Hawks or something like that? He's a nice guy. Check out his YouTube channel. He does some really good stuff. Or a golden eagle, or a kestrel. I said that already, haven't I? You know, there's many types of bird of prey that should be protected. I'm not sure if herons should be protected though. Trust me, if you go to a large park where there's a huge river or pond, you'll find herons. You know, you just need to look for them really. But I was gobsmacked to find one in my garden. I'll tell you that much. I couldn't believe it. In fact, I still can't believe it. Um, you know, it's one of those things, though, I guess. Anyone extending their ponds? Anyone watching at the moment? Are you thinking extending your ponds, making them bigger, deeper, wider? What's your sort of thoughts on extending ponds? Cheers, Martin. Appreciate you coming on. Yeah, I sometimes watch GKP, but I do think he's gone a bit too much with getting the guests on and not enough reading people's comments out. I think that's what people enjoyed about his YouTube channel. People enjoyed, um, you know, interacting with him in the comments and him reading those comments out. But I think he sort of lost sight of that a little bit when he gets these professional people on, you know, or people he knows, and he doesn't seem to read comments out, or he seems to sort of blacklist certain people sometimes. And I just wish he would go back to how he did his YouTube channel, where he did read the comments out. Just because you've gained over 1,000 subscribers, just because you've gained monetization, it doesn't mean you have to stop doing what you were doing. So, life around the koi pond says mine is 20 by 7 by 3. I don't think I'll be going any bigger. A lot of people talk about ponds that they want it to be deeper and deeper. And I've watched a lot of professionals actually say, well, hang on a minute, it's not a good idea to have deeper ponds. You don't have to have, like, what, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 foot deep ponds where you're digging out a ton of clay and then you have to get rid of it because koi fish don't actually always go down to the bottom. Only when it's cold do they do that. And the reason they do that is because it's warmer down at the bottom during winter months. But as soon as the temps come up, they don't spend a lot of their time at the bottom. So Gwen says, love to extend and have more koi, but garden not big enough and pockets not deep enough. I know what you mean, Gwen. When I was digging out a lot, I was going to make a massive pond by the wall, and I was digging tons and tons of soil out. And then I realised that maybe it's not a good idea to have a pond next to a old building. So I just ended up filling it in. But when I did remove a lot of clay, it cost me about £150 a skip times three. That was a bit of a silly mistake for me to waste all that money getting rid of some soil, then having to get more soil and fill the hole in, which was a bit silly. And then I ended up putting the pond next to the garage instead and not digging so deep, and then building it up a little bit. The problem I have in my garden is the water table. The water table is a massive problem. And if you ever build a pond, you'll know that the water table can be a massive issue, because as soon as I start digging down about half a meter, I hit groundwater, and that groundwater is deep. And the only way of getting rid of that groundwater is via a technique called hydrostatic pressure. And what happens is the pressure of your pond pushes the groundwater away and towards something. So you might have a pipe underneath your pond, and the pressure of the water above pushes the groundwater down into a pipe and hopefully down into a drain or down a hill or something like that. But this is very technical, very complicated, and very expensive to do. So sometimes instead of digging deep, you have to build your pond up. But then that brings other issues such as frost. Frost can affect your pond and freeze it up easier than it would if it were in the ground. So it's a bit of a combination with my pond. It's a half above and half below. Um, and that's sometimes a necessity if you don't have a way of getting rid of heavy duty groundwater. Now, I have a bit of a problem where I live because there's a massive factory that dumps a ton of water into my ground, and unfortunately, that causes me issues regarding having a deep pond. I can't go 4 foot deep, unfortunately. So I sort of made a compromise. I basically went 2 feet deep and about a feet above. So I got three sleepers above and about 2 feet deep into the ground, and that's as much as I really dared go deep in terms of the groundwater issue. If you're living in an area that isn't heavy clay, that's not an issue for you. But some people have to drill down through solid granite to get through the water table to get rid of that water. And some people, unfortunately, have issues with water around their house, where it can damage your foundations. So water management is very important. So Gwen says my pond is 8 foot by 10 foot and 3.5 deep. I used the spoil to build a waterfall. You're talking about like a berm, aren't you? Like a hill that you put your spillway onto, and then you put a liner around it, and then it goes into your pond. Yeah. It's a simple, typical way of building a pond, really. You know, if you watch any aquascape build, that's more or less what they do. I do think a lot of aquascape products are overpriced, however. Um, like their spillways, their skimmers, even their water disappearing waterfalls, their bowls are well overpriced in my opinion. But some people like them and prepared to pay those massive prices. Thanks a lot, Gwen. Appreciate that. Yeah, so pond building is a complicated thing. People think it's easy. Just dig a hole, put water in it, and put your fish in it. It's I think it's that simple. But it's not always that simple. It can be simple. You don't have to spend a mega bucks of money. All you have to do is dig a hole, put a liner in, and then figure out how you're going to filter it. As long as you filter it reasonably well, it can be done well. Um, I don't like to disagree with people on live streams as such. Life around the koi pond. The reason ponds are warmer is quite simply put. Think about it like this: if you go to the London Underground, it's warm, isn't it? And the reason for that is the core of the earth, molten lava, is warm. So anything below ground level is warmer than it is above ground level, especially in icy, frosty conditions. So, ever doubt that? Ever doubt me? Ever doubt anyone that says that to you? Just go to the London Underground in the winter, and I guarantee it's 10 degrees warmer underground than it is above ground. And that's how you know uh, the ground insulates water and keeps warmer temperatures. And a good thing to say about that is my fish, when it's cold, stay at the bottom. They don't come to the top. And that's the reason for that. It's quite simple. It's like a lot warmer, even if it's just warm by a few degrees at the bottom than it is at the top. Obviously, when summer comes around, that sort of changes around a little bit. I did it myself and no spring chicken. Do you mean build your pond? Yeah, the thing with the bottom drains, they do sort of cool your pond a little bit. The thing is, if you're not moving any water down your bottom drain and you turn everything off, it is actually warmer further down. And if you ever doubt this, just get a thermometer and leave it down there, and then bring it up to about halfway up, and then see if the temperature changes. And you'll find there might be half a degree or 1 degree difference. It's not much, but the fish feel it. So Gwen says, yep. So I'm assuming she meant built her own pond. Have you ever noticed how some of these big YouTubers get a lot of help? They get lots of people coming to help build their pond. And yet other YouTubers that are quite a bit smaller in terms of channel size don't get anyone offering to come round and help. Just something I thought I'd throw out there. At least I can say I built my own pond myself, like you have done, Gwen. Where there's a lot of people out there who are more than willing to help a big YouTuber, but not, say, maybe yourself, Gwen. You know. Don't get me wrong; it would be nice to come have someone to come round and help me, like my brother, but he doesn't really help anyone really. But I suppose that's families are like that sometimes. I wonder if anyone's watching this, do you get help from family members or friends? Do they come and help you build your pond? Or are they just what I call imaginary friends? You know, they say, I'll come round and help you, and they never do. I remember that when I worked for a company called First, right? And I used to have lots of colleagues who said, "Oh, I'll come round and give you a hand." Did they ever come round and help? No. You know. So yeah, I don't know what more I really can talk about. Um, is anyone out there concerned about predators? Have you seen anything else apart from herons? Have other predators come to your pond and try to kill your fish? Have you lost fish? What's the biggest fish you've lost? Just wondered. Um, because obviously once your koi fish get to a certain size, predators can't really touch them because they're huge. You know, it's like it's like having a whale, isn't it? Nothing will go after a whale because it's too massive. Raccoons, yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was thinking about predators in America. Raccoons are a big deal in America because they're like eating rubber liner for some bizarre reason. So I know another product that came out in America you can buy, which is like a concrete liner protector. So what you do is you put your liner down, and then you put this thing. It's quite thin, a concrete like layer you put on top of your liner, and it's apparently supposed to stop raccoons eating the liner. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it'll be a cheap product, but it might stop your pond being eaten by raccoons. Well, Life Around the Koi Pond says I read about it, and the pond should be 8 foot plus deep to notice an extra degree or so. It depends. I think it depends on the land that you're on, because some soils are better than others. You know, like heavy clay soil is quite cold, but soil with different layers in it. Because I was digging deep, and guess what I found? Let me see. I found a layer of sand. I found a layer of coal. I found a layer of charcoal. I found a layer of it was like a wood material. I found multiple layers of various substances um, that, which I believe is a good form of insulating, many different layers. But if it was just topsoil or clay, it might not be a great insulator. So I think it depends on what's in your soil. So Gwen says the first line I put in 20 years ago was chewed through at water level by rats. Rats? We didn't expect that. They're pesky things, aren't they, those rats? I have a 2 foot walls. Damn raccoons were going over the garage. Had the water hose on them. Bet they didn't like that, did they? Raccoons. Yeah. Don't get them in UK. Too cold. Uh, we do get squirrels, grey ones. Damn your grey squirrels from America. You know, destroying our red ones. There still are some colonies of red squirrels further down south, but they have been shrinking over the many years because of the grey squirrels being bigger. Chika Koi says they stand on two and look like kids in the dark. Sounds like meerkats to me. Yeah, meerkats stand up. up on twos, don't they? They do that normally to look for predators, and then they sort of alert their other friends around them that there's a predator nearby, and then they all leg it. Bit like a sentry, I suppose. You know. Um, liners. Let's talk about liners. There's different types of liners. PVC liners. You've got EPDM liners, and obviously you got your fiberglass. And a little less known substance to use to line a pond with is epoxy, which is basically plastic which hardens, a bit like fiberglass really, but not quite as strong. Um, so those are the main ways of sort of lining a pond. Except there's one other one which is lesser known, which is clay. What you can do is you can get clay and line a pond with clay, and it will waterproof it. Unfortunately, there is a problem with clay. When it gets hot, it dries out and cracks, and that can make it leak. And one other thing I've not mentioned is tarpaulin. A lot of people use tarpaulin in the Philippines for their ponds because it's cheap. You know, they don't have a lot of money, and it's all right, but it's prone to being punctured, just like um, the plastic liners you can buy. The problem with plastic is it cannot be sealed with silicone. Silicone will not stick to it. It will come off it eventually. And that's why you can't really seal plastic liners. You know, there's a substance called, is it HDME or something like that, which is like a polyurethane plastic type material. A lot you can buy these really cheap. Uh, the a liner, but they're prone to being punctured, and they're not easy to seal. So liners, I think the best way to go is EPDM all the way. Even if you puncture it, you can easily seal it up with silicone or another piece of rubber. You know, rubber sticks to rubber in effect. Um, and I did a video on that where I did a patch. Obviously, it was in the corner in a difficult place to put it, so that's why it didn't really hold. But if you can attach a piece of liner to another liner on a flat area with no creases, you'll get a good bond. That's the one thing you can't do with plastic. Plastic just cannot be repaired once it's been punctured. I see a lot of UK hobbyists use fiberglass. How does it hold up in those negative degree weather? That's Cheetah Koi. Right, fiberglass. It's a complicated product, really. It's best to put down in cooler temperatures, believe it or not. Not freezing temperatures, but don't even try and pour it. Do a fiberglass pond in anything like 20 to 30 degrees, because it just goes off too quickly. And there's a lot of professionals out there, and there's a guy I watch a lot who does fiberglass ponds. I think what gets a lot of people is the fumes that comes from it, and you're limited in time because the stuff goes off literally in 20 minutes. And in really hot temperatures, it can go off in, because I know, is it Jamie Keeping It Koi? He did a video where he sort of did a, well, not a great job when it comes to fiberglassing, and he made a right cock up of it, and he had to get someone in to fix it. And the thing with fiberglass is in hot temperatures, it pretty much goes off in seconds. And when the sun hits it, it goes off very, very quickly. And it's like you've run out of time. But fiberglass is a good material. But the problem with fiberglass is attaching plastic to it. You can't fiberglass plastic returns or skimmers with fiberglass. You just can't do it. So what you need is an in-between material, a bonding agent. Um, some people like use some sort of mastic type material that goes in between the fiberglass and the plastic returns and the skimmers, and that gives you a good bond. The thing is, fiberglass doesn't adhere to plastic very well, so you need something that goes in between the fiberglass and the plastic to give you a good bond. So that's why a lot of skimmers unfortunately leak. There are some people out there who think they'll put the fiberglass onto the plastic skimmer, it'll stick to it, and you'll have a good join. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. It might work temporarily for a little while, but eventually the water gets behind the fiberglass, and then you get water going behind the fiberglass, and down the inside of your pond on the outside, and that's when you start getting a water leak. So fiberglass does not adhere to plastic very well. So if you've got a plastic skimmer, you need a bonding agent that bonds to the plastic and it bonds to the fiberglass. There's a guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name, but he's a really expert on this, and he does his own bonding agent, and he calls it a paste, and it basically joins the fiberglass to the plastic. So if you do fiberglass, which is a big project, it's a big investment. Some people think it's just better to get an expert to come in and do it, because a lot of people can't stand the fumes. It's very toxic, that stuff, and don't ever get that in your eyes, because if you do, you're going to A&E basically. It's a catalyst that they put in that heats up the fiberglass resin, and it speeds up the reaction, right? Unfortunately, you basically need time to do a fiberglass pond. Unfortunately, you're running out of time when you do a fiberglass pond, pretty much. So fiberglass is a very difficult stuff to use, and I think unless you know what you're doing or get an expert to do it for you, it might cost you an extra £1,000, but it might be worth it, you know. But fiberglass is very durable. It doesn't crack or damage if it gets if you hit it. It won't just shatter, and it won't lose its waterproofness either. Just like that. So yeah, fiberglass is a good product. It's nice to use. However, it's a very difficult product to use. It can be quite expensive as well, and the time frame to get it put in is very short as well. Probably talking to fiberglass a pond. It's probably going to take you an hour to do it, and I mean you need to do it in an hour. Can't unless you do it in sections, obviously, but you can't just do a little bit and then think, oh, I'll leave it, I'll come back to it, because if it goes off, basically if you leave it to go off in a bucket, your bucket's useless, and you have to chuck your bucket in the bin with whatever was in it. It's I'm going to be doing an epoxy filter, which is called Pond Armor. It's a substance very similar along the lines of fiberglass resin, except instead of using fiberglass, you use the plastic epoxy, which is basically, if you've ever had that glue where it's in two parts and you mix it together, that's an epoxy. Well, I'm going to be putting that on what they call a filter box, basically, a planter box, sorry. And you can buy these planter boxes, and then you can line it with this pond armor stuff, which is like an epoxy plastic, and waterproof it. There's a guy called the Hawaiian Fish Keeper, a YouTuber, and he's got something called Tika Falls, like a big pond. He did have a smaller one, and he's got an above ground pond as well. Now he built a filter with the help of a mate of his, using epoxy plastic to waterproof, and that's what I plan to use on my filter when it arrives, and I'll show you that in a video. So life around the koi pond says I have a wooden raised pond with a thick rubber liner, no window as I don't rate them really. Um, Windows, that's a good subject to talk about. A lot of people talk about windows, and I don't know, I'm sort of on the fence because I did think about putting a window in the extension part of my new pond when I rebuild it. A lot of people feel that windows lose a lot of heat, especially in the winter. Um, and I can understand that because I know there's a few YouTubers. What they do is they put a bit of insulation over the window in the winter to try and insulate the pond a little bit more, because a big sheet of glass will lose a ton of heat, you know. And yeah, having a window is nice though. You get to see your fish swimming around. You know, you know. Is it Jamie the Koi Whisperer? He talks about his rabbits a lot, doesn't he? He spent 20 grand on his pond. £20,000. Can you imagine spending 20 grand on a pond? What what would concern me? What happens if you have to move? Now there's a lot of people when they buy a house don't want a pond. And they'll say to the guy who's got the pond, we want you to dismantle it and take it down because we don't want a pond in the garden. You want me to dismantle my 20 grand pond? Really? Ooh. Believe it or not, it happens. You know, it does happen. People do dismantle their ponds because they want to sell the house. Now, the advantage of having a sleeper pond is you can disassemble it and take it with you. You can't do that with a breeze block pond, a brick pond, a stone mortared pond. You can't take that with you. You can't disassemble it, but you can if you have a sleeper pond. That's the benefit of a sleeper pond. If you move, you can take it with you. All you've got to do is fill the hole in and take it with you. And whatever house you've moved to, dig another hole, bring all your wood, build it up again, and you get to enjoy your pond at your new house. So life around the koi pond says it's the fish swimming around the window trying to get through it that puts me off. Trying to get through it? What, they're trying to get out? Is that it? I never thought about it like that, really. I just thought they come to the window to nosy to see what you're doing. The only thing with my fish is they always seem to swim away from me for some reason, even when I try feeding them. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this live stream's gone on for a long time now. I need to go and do something with my fish because, like someone has already said, that heron. You know what? I think there's a good chance they might. So I've got a large tank in my bedroom, which isn't that large, but maybe I'll put my fish in there and just see what happens, you know. Might be an idea to think about emptying that pool, looking at it, see if it's damaged, and then maybe move that into garage as a temporary thing. But if I'm honest with you, I don't think the fish are going to survive. I hope some of them do, but I just don't know if they will because they look really hurt. Can you imagine a bird, you know, pecking at you, even though it couldn't get you, and then you've got cuts and bruises all over you, and will they survive? I don't know. because if I try and take them out of the pool, that's going to stress them out, isn't it? Don't know what to do. But I'll end the live stream there. I just want to say a big thank you for everyone that's come and watched. You know, I hope I haven't been too boring today. And I'll see you in another video, I guess. And thank you for coming on. Thank you. And thank you for the nice comments. That's another thing I want to say. I appreciate the support and the concern and the genuineness of everyone coming on to find out what's been going on. Maybe I'll do another one. If you would like me to do some more of these, you know, let me know. I've thought about doing some live streams. I know Gaz's Koi Pond does one once a week every Thursday. I know DT Koi does them or used to do them every couple of weeks. Maybe I should do one, you know, now and then, see how it goes. I have a lot of knowledge about pond building, but there's also a lot of things I don't know. Like all things, not everyone knows everything, but I hope that some of the things I talk about can be helpful and can be informative, and you know, can help you learn. Even if I make big mistakes, hopefully it helps you avoid making those mistakes. That's why I did the YouTube channel in the first place. Now, some people can criticize me and say, "Oh, you're doing this wrong, or you shouldn't do it like that," blah blah blah. But at least you see the mistakes I've made, and then you realize, right, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it a different way. And if it helps you, all the better. So, without further ado, I know some of you people have got things to do. No doubt you want to watch your EastEnders or Neighbours. Well, not Neighbours, that's old, innit? Coronation Street, or you just want to go to bed or chill out or watch YouTube. So I'll just leave it there. Have a nice day, have a nice night, and I will upload a new video tonight about what's happened. Might be long-winded, and I do apologise. In fact, it's going to be a massive video, really, because there's like 2.5 videos of that attack. You might not want to watch it. Some people found it hard to watch, and I couldn't understand that. But I'll put it up anyway, and I'll do that later on tonight. Anyway, see you later. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching. Thank you for that, Nick. Appreciate that. We'll see, won't we? But I suspect some of them won't survive the night. But it's a lesson learned, innit? Never have a small pond pool like that with koi in if you're going to have birds around. I've never seen a heron in my garden, though. Never, ever. So I didn't expect it. You know, if I'd seen them around, I'd expect it. But I've never seen them around, so why would you expect it? And some people would say, "Oh, you should have put the net higher, or yeah, you know, maybe you should have known better." But if you've never seen a heron in your garden, why would you think a heron would come? You know, I'm shocked to see this happen because I can't believe it's happened actually. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another one. Bye bye.